your dreams.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm just going to be talking about how Tower of Fantasy fell from grace. Quick disclaimer, I am going to be talking trash about this game, so if you do love Tower of Fantasy, you might as well just click away now because I am going to talk trash about this game. Another disclaimer is I don't actually want to see this game fail. I do want to see this game succeed. Even though I hate and dislike this game, I don't want to see it fail, but from the looks of things, I will give this game a few years before it ends of service. By the way, if you happen to like the content, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It'd be greatly appreciated. So when Tower of Fantasy was on the verge of release, this game had a lot of hype. I remember on the night of the release, it was really hard to get in. It took people several hours just to get into Tower of Fantasy. Even Genshin content creators were jumping ship, even me included on my old channel. I did enjoy this game very much. On my old channel, when I got into the closed beta test, I streamed the game for at least like around 2 weeks, I think. Made videos about the game. I genuinely enjoyed the game. On Twitch, this game had like thousands of views. Nowadays, it only gets like 200 views. The game was making like 30 million a month. Nowadays, it only gets like 2 million or less. It makes less money than Blue Archive or Arknights, and both of those games are just PNG collectors. Genshin content creators that played the game eventually left the game. So what happened to Tower of Fantasy? How did it go from riches to nearly rags right now? Well, for one thing, when the game came out, it had a lot of glitches and bugs that players can exploit. Minor bugs to very major bugs in which a player could, steal inventory from other players. In all of my MMO experiences, I don't think I've ever heard of a bug like that in which, someone could just, co-op with you and then just steal your shit, basically. Like, that's just ridiculous right there. Like, it's 2023. We shouldn't be having shit like that. I would expect something like that in a very old 2000s game, but not in a game in 2023 or 2022. That's ridiculous. Another major bug in Tower of Fantasy is whenever a streamer was streaming the game, they would get teleported all over the damn map. This definitely happened with the bigger streamers since, they're big and they had a major audience and they'd have like a major reaction. But getting teleported all over the place when you're trying to play the game does sound very annoying. Hackers also ruined the Tower of Fantasy experience. You would see hackers on the top of the leaderboards. They would have like insane numbers that would be impossible to reach even if you wailed. Tower of Fantasy should not have this many bugs and hacking exploits since the CN server went through this. There's no reason the global server should have gone through this as well. And the fact that this game had this many bugs and hackers basically tells me that they rushed to release this game. They didn't bother to clean it up to release it for the global audience. And the worst part about these glitches and hacks is the fact that the company themselves tried to hide it under the rug. They took too long to fix this, and by the time they did fix it, they would just, pretend like nothing was really happening. They would just go, oh, quick, sudden maintenance, sorry, and that's it. They never mentioned the bugs and glitches that were going on. Other scummy things that Hoda Studios did for Tower of Fantasy is some mistranslation errors. If you don't know, when a new character is coming out in Tower of Fantasy, a week before they're released, you'll be able to read on their kits on the character's archive. When Cobalt B was about to be released, people read her kit before she was released and, they were hyped for her. However, once she did come out and people pulled for her and played her, they realized that there was a mistranslation with her kit because her kit specifically said that she did this, but she did not do this. I can't exactly remember the right details because this was like a long ass time ago, but I do remember that the community was upset about this. As a result, Hoda Studios did fix the mistranslation and they also gave out dark crystals to whoever pulled for Cobalt B. Whether this mistranslation error was on accident or even on purpose, it's a little debatable. There were some conspiracy tards talking about how they mistranslated her on purpose because they knew that people were going to skip Cobalt B for another better fire character. I'm gonna put my money in that they mistranslated her on purpose because they had a whole week to fix that mistranslation error before she was released. There is a slight chance that that mistranslation could be an accident because another oopsie that Hoda Studios did is not paying their translators. Hoda Studios basically gathered volunteers that played the game to translate Tower of Fantasy, and guess what? They paid them in. They paid them in dark crystals, the in-game currency that you can use to summon characters. Now, I don't know why translators in the anime industry, whether it's in anime games or just like anime in general, they always get fucked over. Translators get bad working conditions, or they're just not getting paid enough. I know translating might look easy, but these people took the time out of their lives to learn a new language, to learn how to read it, to learn how to speak it, so they can understand that language. They should get paid the amount of work that they do. In the workplace, there's one thing that needs to be upheld at all times, and that thing is respect. The fact that Hoda Studios paid these translators in dark crystals instead of money basically means that they don't respect these translators. That's like, you know, working at a burger joint and you get paid in burgers instead of money, or working at an office job and getting paid in Pokemon cards because the boss knows you like Pokemon cards that much. If a company is paying you in something else that's not money, that's disrespectful. They disrespecting you. They don't respect you enough to pay you in money. Please, for the love of God, if you're doing work for anybody, make sure you're getting paid the right amount of money. Hoda Studios was making bank back then, so you would think that they would have the money to pay their translators, but no, they had to get people in the in-game community to translate this game and pay them in dark crystals. It's also just unprofessional in Hoda Studios' part. Anyways, back to other incompetent stuff that Hoda Studios did to Tower of Fantasy. Tower of Fantasy was speeding up to catch up to the Chinese server. Now, in my experience, when a gacha game does something like this, where they're speeding up the game in order to catch up to like the Asian servers, that's a death flag right there, because most gacha games that do that end up dead. And it also doesn't give enough time for free-to-play players to save up for future 5-star characters. And the salty part about this is that even though they were speeding up the game, they eventually decided to stay 2 patches behind the CN server. So then what the fuck was the point of speeding up the game? They might as well just have taken their sweet ass time. When Vera, the new region, came out in Tower of Fantasy, the treasure chests that you get in Vera no longer give dark crystals. Instead of dark crystals, they give out this thing called Vera coin, which is like a in-game currency that you use for another gacha, basically. This gacha that you roll on has a chance to give you dark crystals. This is a dumb decision because you're basically taking away the #1 currency that players want. You're basically just forcing players to roll on another gacha just for a chance for more dark crystals. That is like if Genshin Impact's Fontaine, they decided to get rid of the primos and treasure chests, and instead of primos and the Fontaine treasure chests, you get the Fontaine coin, and you use that Fontaine coin to roll on another gacha that has a chance to give you primos. If Hoyoverse ever did that, you'd bet that there'd be a fire under their headquarters, because that's just a dumb decision. I don't know why they thought Vera coin was a good idea. They should have just kept the dark crystals in the treasure chests. Tower of Fantasy Global to this day still does not have a collab. The CN version of the game does have a specific collab with this Chinese TV series called Link Cage. Global never got this collab, probably because of copyright reasons. I'm not really too sure. But if Global wasn't going to receive this collab, then Global should at least have their own exclusive collab, but to this day they still don't have any collabs. There's no hints of a collab anytime soon. If Global couldn't get this collab, then they should have their own collab, in my opinion. Maybe on the PlayStation release, Tower of Fantasy can get the PlayStation collab. Oh wait, they are releasing on PlayStation and it's a dumpster fire. So for the PlayStation version of Tower of Fantasy, it's not cross compatibility with the PC version, so you're not going to be able to play with your PC friends on PlayStation, unfortunately. Nor can you transfer your save files. I don't know if save file would be the right word. But if you played on PC and mobile, you won't be able to have your progress come over to PlayStation, unfortunately. So the PlayStation release has been a dumpster fire. If they couldn't find a way to have the progress saved over from all of these 3 platforms, then they shouldn't have promised the PlayStation version to begin with, or maybe just delay it a little bit longer so they can find a way to have all progress saved over from these 3 platforms. If the game can be hacked that easily, surely there is a way for them to have progress on all 3 of these platforms. In conclusion, Hoda Studios made a lot of terrible decisions with Tower of Fantasy. I think the 2 biggest ones were speeding up the game and a lot of bugs and hackers in the game. They also merged servers a little bit too late. I think they should have merged servers a little earlier on. I think they weren't prepared for the big success that the game had when the game first launched. And as a result of this unpreparation, they basically fucked up. They fumbled the ball. Hopefully they can get their stuff together because, you know, at this rate, they might actually die in a few years, maybe 2 years. So that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think. Agree, disagree. Like the content, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye now. Come again soon.